I think the essence to a good story is a transformation. You start somewhere and then something happens and then you end up with you plus a lesson. You're a slightly different you and you're ready for a new future. The experience happened and you learn from it. I don't think the essence of a good story is necessarily a huge, crazy plot. And the reason that I say this is because I had a small transformation this week, but it's one that taught me a lesson that I think might be valuable. If you've been feeling a bit low from all the news, if you've been feeling unproductive, if you feel like you're not really keeping up with the world that's trying to tell you to bake some bread and start a veggie garden, then this video might be for you. So here's how my transformation went. On Monday, I was catatonic. I couldn't move my head to even save myself. My eyes were closed and I was just in this intense black hole of sadness. God damn, that sounded emo. But I was, that's how I felt. The next day I wake up feeling slightly less My Chemical Romance about the world and I make the following animation.
Hey man, how are ya? You know, with all this isolation?
Not well, dude. Not well at all. And I feel guilty for saying that. I feel so privileged. I'm stuck in a nice house with reasonable people. What right do I have to complain? I've got no real threat of violence, starvation, or true poverty, but I still feel so depressed. I feel like all my normal interactions have been replaced by weird online ones where the rules of the overly positive seem to dominate. Be grateful for what you have. Start a new project. Bake some bread. Work out from home. You want to know a secret, man? I loved the gym, but I hate push-ups. I just hate them. And then I feel bad for even thinking that, because right now there's some guy with no arms who'd probably kill to do a push-up. And then I feel even worse, like I'm not good at mental health, because I'll see some post that says, enjoy relaxing, don't beat yourself up, appreciate your time off. Honestly, I feel like Sisyphus with his goddamn rock, except my rock is getting through my day. I wake up, I have a coffee, and I start pushing my rock. I tell myself I won't read the news, I read the news, and I keep pushing that rock. I try to work, 4 p.m. comes quicker than ever, and then I drink. The rock is nearly at the top. I watch something mindless while eating comfort food, and I go back to bed. The rock rolls down the hill, waiting for me to wake up and do it all again tomorrow. So I guess to answer your question, how am I through all this isolation? Yeah, not good, man. Not good at all.
Damn, that's a shame. Have you tried yoga?
So that's the animation, but now it brings up a whole new question. How did I get from feeling sad on the couch to making an animation? This is that small transformation, and I've put it down to 5 steps. A quick disclaimer, this video is not about depression, it's not about fighting depression. Like many of you, I have fought depression and have had to battle with that a lot throughout my life, but that's not what this video is about. There will be links in the description if however you have, and I'm really, really sorry that that's the fight that you're fighting. I hope you get better. For clarity's sake, this video is more about fighting a rut or a slump. Alright, let's begin. How to get motivated during a crisis in 5 steps. Step 1, forgive yourself. Holy smokes, man, it's really, really hard. It sucks. Things kind of suck right now. If you're anything like me, you just miss your friends, you miss the gym, you miss your routine, you miss places. Remember places? Weren't places cool? It's okay to feel like you're not productive. And I know that we have a weird lens that we see the world through right now, which is the lens of the internet, online news and social media, which has replaced the usual way that we get data, which is by talking to physical people. The problem is that the internet tends to favor really extreme voices, ones that might not get as much airtime in a normal physical situation. These voices might be controversial, they might be overly positive, they might just be plain scary like the news. And that can really skew how you feel about yourself. So it's okay if you haven't been feeling it, if you haven't started a podcast or built your veggie garden by now, that's so okay. Exhale, relax your shoulders, let's chill. Step 2, declutter your head. I've made another animation for this, get ready. It's just as simple as the last one, but I hope it gets my point across. This is your brain. Deep inside your brain, there's a little pilot light. A light that's waiting to turn into a full-blown flame. This flame represents your motivation. But as we can see, there's also a lot of scribbles. Those scribbles are your thoughts. These could be normal thoughts like, what should I have for dinner? They could be big existential thoughts like, why am I here and what should I do with my life? Or they could be annoying thoughts like, damn, remember that time that you threw up on your CFO's shoes at your first ever office Christmas party? God, you're embarrassing. That straight up happened to me, that one. That is one of my cringe thoughts that stays in my brain. But heck, he had it coming. Right now you can't see the pilot light, all you can see is the scribbles. So what we've got to do is declutter our brain. And the way that we do that is to get the scribbles onto paper. So grab some paper, grab a pen, and write down every single thought that you are having right now. And I mean every thought. Even if that thought is, I'm skeptical that this technique will work. I don't really like journaling. If writing's not your thing, or if you're unable to write, you can also voice record it. What we're trying to do is index our thoughts so that they're in front of us. When they're in front of us, they're tangible, they're a lot more manageable, and they don't look as scary. We can see them, we can see that they're finite, and we can free up some space in our brain. Because at the end of the day, your brain is not a storage locker, it's a computer, and that's the way that we gotta use it. Step 3, give yourself a reason. What we're trying to do now is turn the pilot light in your brain into a full-blown bonfire. But to do that, we've got to give you a strong reason. To do this, write down the task that you need to do. Underneath, write, I am doing this because, followed by one or multiple reasons. For me, with that animation, the reason that I used was, I want to make sure that sad people feel heard. And as soon as I had that, as soon as I had the image of somebody who was struggling amongst the sea of media noise just to feel heard in their pain, then I was like, damn, well now I have to make this. It gave me a sense of duty and a sense of nobility. If my reason was simply, I want to get some likes on Instagram, I would never have done it. Now I know what you're thinking, an animation is super fun. What if what I have to do is really, really boring? Then you'll have to dig deeper for that reason. That's just how it works. So when I do work, when I do things that aren't fun and things that are just for the money, I'll always still give them a reason. And my reason is usually, one day I'm gonna walk into a house and say, I bought this thing by drawing cartoons. And that fills me with so much joy and energy. I don't know why, it just does. Now, if that is not resonating with you, it's okay to go to a dark place to get off the couch. Sometimes I'll go to the dark energy. I'll go to the bullies, the haters, the critics, the people who said that I couldn't do it. I know that sounds like the start of a rap song, but I am serious, man. Sometimes I'll have to say, sometimes, honestly, my reason will be this. At my first ever job, I was workplace bullied by this awful human named Kate. And one day, I just want to make sure that she sees my smiling, successful face and feels like a failure. And maybe that's your reason. Maybe you just want to stick it to your dad. Who knows? In any case, it's time for step 4. Lower the barrier to entry. Lowering the barrier to entry comes in 2 ways. The first way is to segment your to-do list into easy, actionable next steps. So if you've got a line item that just says animation and that's your only thing in your to-do list, that's gonna be really, really hard. Whereas if you've got animation, I wanna make this so that sad people feel heard, and underneath it says draw the clock, draw the house, draw the sad coffee cup, then things are gonna be a lot easier. Now the second way to lower the barrier to entry is the 70% rule. I will talk about this a lot more in a future video because I wanna make a whole video about this, but basically it's about not aiming for perfect, aiming for 70%. If you're a procrastinator, you'll know what it's like to say, I'm not gonna start this project until the conditions are perfect, until all the clocks in the house have struck 3 and all the weather vanes are facing westward. You and I both know that that's a curse, so the best way to get around that I've found is once I've got conditions up to 70% good, I'll start. 70% also lowers the barrier to entry to finishing. If you say I'm only gonna create something that's 70% good as opposed to perfect, suddenly it's not as intimidating, and that can be all you need to start sometimes. So now your to-do list has a why, it's got your next actionable steps, and you've lowered the barrier to entry. Now it's time for step 5. Act first, get motivated later. I've said this before, but holy smokes, it is worth repeating. Action comes before motivation. We all know the motivation myth that we're all meant to wait until inspiration strikes us before we can create whatever it is that motivation wants us to create. That's a myth and a very dangerous one. What's actually true is that you act first and then the motivation will come to you, which sucks, but that is just the truth. And I don't want it to be true just as much as you don't want it to be true. I would love for this to be easy, but it's not. So to do this step, you got to figure out what it is that starts the action. If you're an artist, it might be having your book open and having the pen out. If you make videos, it might be having the camera on. If you're a competitive cereal eater who's just lost the will to eat cereal competitively, it might be pouring that cereal into the bowl. Whatever it is, the first 5 minutes are gonna suck, and then motivation will eventually catch up. I know you don't think I can guarantee it, but I almost certainly can. That is when the flames have been fully fanned into a gigantic bonfire, and that is how you get motivated. So that's it. That's how I got off the couch and back into making stuff. I'm not saying it will work for you, but I am saying it at least worked for me. So my focus group of 1 has come back positive. Hopefully this video has inspired you to do something and not just keep watching whatever the next video that's going to tell you how to be motivated is. Fingers crossed. I know that rabbit hole, man, it sucks because you're getting the high of feeling like you're doing something but you're not actually doing anything. And that That is just another harsh truth. But also, conversely, don't feel bad if this hasn't made you motivated. It's okay. The world is going through a massive trauma right now. It's all right if you just want to sleep. Both of those things are fine. It's up to you. In any case, I think it'd be healthy to get your thoughts onto paper. So if you get that far, if you get 70% through the actions, I think that's a success. That's it from me. Let me know if you want to see more advice videos, and if you do, what topic that you'd like to see me tackle. Subscribe if you're new, and good luck with making whatever it is that you want to make. Catch ya.